So welcome back. This is going to be the last video for this year's growing season 2016. Today is September 10th, and the tomato plants are finishing off their growing for the season. We had a very hard summer as far as lack of rain, and we're just starting to get the rain now, and it's the end of the season, so it's been rather difficult. Anyhow, let's take a look. I'm going to do a quick scan over the hydroponics, and as you can see, they are definitely coming to an end. We have definitely had a beautiful crop. Both hydroponics and the planted tomatoes have done very well. Last time that we talked, I was talking about blossom end rot. So I did a little research on blossom end rot. Blossom end rot is caused by a calcium deficiency. So and it's not all tomato plants. It can appear in some varieties. It's also very common in squash, cucumbers, stuff like that. So the San Marzano tomatoes are very sensitive to the amount of calcium that they get. This is the San Marzano tomato right here, as you can see. Nice size, nice red tomato. Probably be the last one on that plant. I got to get out here and do some picking today. We're going to be getting some rain in a little bit. As you can see over here, this has a little bit of blossom end rot on it. I'm not sure if I'm getting it in the video. Let me see if I can find my fingers. There we go. So this guy over here, there we go, there's my fingers. That's blossom end rot. Sorry about that. Oh, and that's what happens, is they just fall off. They will ripen. This is one that did ripen over here. Let me take them off. There we go. There we go. So they will ripen, but that's what it looks like. They just kind of rot off on the bottom. So that's blossom end rot. These guys over here, beautiful tomatoes. These are Rutgers. Sorry. Yes, those are Rutgers. They're excellent as far as canning, sauces, hamburgers, you name it. These guys here, they're beautiful tomatoes. These are the solar flares. This is what they look like. They have kind of like golden stripes on them, as you can see in there. So they've done real well. These, as you can see, they're starting to split. So I got to get in here and do some quick picking and cut off what has gotten damaged, and then can some of it and dehydrate some of it. Some of it's been already dehydrated. Okay, so these guys were struggling through the year. They were originally soil planted and were transferred over to hydroponics. They did do well. It was just too late in the season for them to really take off. These are my jalapenos, which did not really take off. I do have a jalapeno on there, which you can see. I got a couple more just starting. So what wound up happening, because it was so hot, what wound up happening was the plants were just focused on getting water, and the term is called transpiring. So basically what that means is that the plant is sweating. So all the nutrients that I'm putting in there, they weren't really eating, and they were just sweating and trying to keep themselves cool and keep themselves alive. And now they're starting to do better because it's cooling off. You can see a nice bell pepper there. Did very well in the hydroponics. Again, these are San Marzanos. So yeah, now that it's cooled off, they're starting to do better, but the plants are also coming to an end. And with that, the season is changing, and this is the second year that the plants have been really off. The weather has been off. These are indigo apples. This is what they're supposed to look like right here. They have a nice red bottom and they're black on top. Here's some more that have done really well. I'll be back out here to pick them. So This is where the hydroponics is at. This system has worked exceptionally well, far better than I ever anticipated this year. Not real pleased with the crop itself, but I mean, I can't control the temperature. So let's take a look at the soil planted tomatoes. Hang on one second. Okay, these are the soil planted tomatoes, and they've actually done very, very, very well. Part of the reason is the evergreens in the background created shade for them when the west sun was setting. So they were able to get enough sunlight without going too crazy, too much heat. Anyhow, we've got some phenomenal, I have a real bushel of tomatoes. I've already gotten 5 buckets of tomatoes, and you can see right in here, this is an indigo apple, which is doing very well, and more indigo apples in here. And as we go up, here's some San Marzanos as we're going up here. Did really, really well with San Marzano, and basically what I did is I dehydrated a lot of them. They're excellent for rehydrating in sauces that you're making. These guys that we're now approaching right here, these are Rutgers, as I mentioned earlier. Excellent, excellent tomatoes for your sauces, sandwiches, you name it. And what I do a lot of times is freeze them first, and then once winter sets in, then I go back and I take the skins off and start canning them as stewed tomatoes and sauces. So you can see over here, this is also a Rutgers. They are just starting to ripen, so we are really late in the season as far as the tomatoes ripening and growing really well. And you can see I've got a lot of tomatoes. These guys over here, these are Marglobes, and they grew really, really well. You can see a nice, beautiful cluster in there, which I will definitely be back to catch in a little bit. So we got some more Marglobes that are growing through here, all in here. And let's see, I also have a tomato that's called Agape de Invierno, and that is right here. Zoom in on that, and you can see how many tomatoes, that's just one plant, how many tomatoes that I've gotten from that. Now the key with the Agape de Invierno, excuse my Italian, is it's supposedly a winter tomato, and what they usually do is they cut them off the vine and hang them upside down during the winter, and they let them dehydrate, and they become very, very sweet. Well, what I wind up doing is I cut them and I put them in the dehydrator, and when I rehydrate them or munch on them as they're dehydrated, they are really, really sweet. If you choose to eat them the way that they are right now, they're very similar to a cherry tomato, regular cherry tomato, though they are sweeter, a little bit sweeter. You can see all these tomatoes are just starting, tomato vines are starting to just go crazy on me over here. These are solar flares. This is what a solar flare looks like before it's turning red, and you can see how big, that's one tomato. One of the solar flares that I took off was 13 ounces. And it is a meaty tomato. It's not very seedy, not very watery. So it is really nice tomato. You can see another beautiful one right here. And that's one right over here that's just starting to turn red. So I'm going to get out here after I'm done with this video and pick them, because we have rain coming in, and it's very important to pick your tomatoes that are red before it rains, because they will split, and don't want that to happen, because it will really ruin what you've spent a lot of time working on and growing. So anyhow, as you can see, there's going to be a lot of picking. and a lot of dehydrating. Anyhow, thanks for joining me during this growing season. I hope you've had a lot of success in your garden. As you see, I don't use tomato cages. I don't like them. It's very difficult to get in there and work with the plants and take the tomatoes out. So I've used cattle fencing on my tomatoes, and it's worked very well. You just got to be careful. It is sharp. It will cut you. So anyhow, like I was saying, thank you very much for joining me through this growing season 2016. Enjoy your harvest. And I'm in the process of redesigning my inside hydroponic unit. So when I'm done with that, I will be looking to make a video of that new system. It will contain the same exact amount of plants as it has in the past. It will just have a different shape, a different form to it. And if you've seen my prior videos, you will see what it used to look like. And I will show you probably in about a month's time frame what that new system looks like. So have a great day, enjoy, and I will talk with you later. Bye for now.